Viewpoints on episode 24. We got a lot to talk about today. A lot.
Packed show.
Let's start. Go ahead and start with the big thing of the week.
Yeah, the ER series finale after 15 years at County General Emergency Room. It all came to an end last night. You know, ER is one of my all-time favorite shows. I've never missed an episode. I was a few episodes behind, so yesterday I spent about 4 hours, 4 hours catching up, and then it led right into the 3-hour finale. So I spent 7 hours watching ER yesterday.
That's a lot of ER.
Let's get right into it. Tim, what did you think of the finale?
I loved it. I thought from the beginning to the last shot, I think was pitch perfect. You could tell they've spent a lot of time thinking about how to end the show.
Right.
Just the ending was fabulous. Gave me, like, you know, goosebumps. How they brought everyone back, the writing. I think everything was just...
From the opening, where they did the old school ER opening, I thought that was fantastic. That was a nice... There were a lot of homages to the first episode. To the pilot episode. A lot of, like, duplicated scenes, which I thought was cool. And like you said, a lot of favorites coming back. I did love it.
But
I wasn't quite as emotional as I thought it was going to be at the end of it, but I did love it. I just thought maybe there was a better way they could have worked in the veterans with the newer cast. Like, I would have thought it would have been great if they're, you know, they're all hanging out at County after Carter's event, and then as everybody's hanging out and reminiscing, then a big trauma hits. And then you get to see, like, the vets working alongside the new people. So, like, Benton is in there with Morris trying to figure something. You know, like that. I thought that would have been cool. But you're right. They spent a lot of time on it. It was really nicely done. Really nice for the fans. And the ending, where it just ends with them, a big trauma comes in and they're getting to work. And Mark's daughter, Rachel, wants to be a doctor and work there now. So it's like, you know, bringing it all together.
that last line was good. You know, Dr. Green, are you coming?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, you know, it reminded you of, like, the, you know, the first couple episodes where it was, you know,
that was nice. That was
kind of
nice.
flipped. You know, Carter was the...
And I know you didn't get a chance to watch it, but the hour retrospective that came on at 8 was really spectacular too. So you really should check that out because it was a nice little, like, flashback to all the.
We took this. We took this ER quiz yesterday, which I think was the hardest quiz.
It was so hard.
It was wow.
And
like,
me being a longtime fan, I thought, okay, I'm gonna have it.
What was it? 15 questions, 20.
Something like that.
15 questions, and we both got 6.
Right.
These questions were like, who was in the car with George Clooney's dad
like
in the
what
first
was
season?
what was the name of the guy that his dad killed in the car crash, and then what's Mark Green Day? And just they were really tough questions, but luckily we did about the same as everybody else. So
yeah, I think a lot of people got 4 that I saw. No one got all of them. There's just no way.
Right, because they were super hard.
Yeah, you would have to look up those questions because that was like, woo, how are you going to get all that? I do not know.
Exactly.
So I think time will tell how well regarded this episode will be. It did get good ratings. It beat everything.
I mean, honestly, I can say it was great and I enjoyed it, but it's probably not going to crack the top 5 of my all-time favorite ER episodes, which, by the way, you can check out on our blog. We're each going to blog about our favorite ER episodes.
Very true. But on the scope of best and worst finales, so like we said, it'd be a while. You know, you got to let it set in.
Right. You got to think about it for a while.
You got to, like, let it, you know, sink in before.
Sometimes you know something's an instant classic, and sometimes you got to just reflect on it.
So let's just take a look. You know, in tribute to ER, we're going to take a look at some of our favorites and not so favorites. So
series finales.
Yeah, go ahead and start. You can start us off.
Well, I don't know how you're going to feel about my list, but my #1 all-time favorite series finale is Charmed. The episode's titled "Forever Charmed." And I know you're not a fan of Charmed, but the way they wrapped it up, they wrapped up all the storylines. They gave you a nice glimpse into the future of the 3 sisters and their family line. So you see that the magic continues in their family, and they continue. It was just, it was a really, really nice, great way for the show to wrap up in a tribute to the fans.
It was on for a long time, wasn't it?
Right, 8 seasons, and I thought it was a great wrap-up. My #2 is The West Wing, called Tomorrow. I just thought it was such a natural ending. The show ran for 8 seasons.
Is there a theme going here?
The last season.
Your number 3 have 8 seasons too?
No, but close.
Okay.
Actually, you know, the last season dealt with the election of a new president, and so the last episode was the inauguration of Jimmy Smits and Martin Sheen leaving office, and it just was such a natural way to end the show.
Okay.
And I thought it was really well done.
Okay.
My number 3 is Buffy Chosen, which ran for 7 seasons.
Oh. So close.
And again, another great way to end a show off like that, with the whole town of Sunnydale falling into the Hellmouth, you know, and just Spike saving the day, because at that point you don't know he's going to pop up on Angel again. So he saves the day, you know, they fight off all the vampires, there's all these slayers in the world now, and it's just like a really fantastic Joss Whedon ending. Okay,
well, mine are in no particular order, so I'll just echo what you're saying with Buffy. It's on my list too. You thought going in, you know, you didn't know what was going to happen.
Right.
It was like, you know, people would die. You know, you thought Buffy was going to die there for a minute.
Yeah.
Anya got sliced in half. So it was very emotional, and you thought the principal was going to die. Very well shot. The special effects are kind of but, you know, for TV, you know, on the CW, you kind of, or the UPN or whatever channel it was on by then.
Yeah,
it was on UPN, right?
It was on UPN.
Yeah, you know, you can't really fault them for that. But the writing was top notch. The way that ended was great. Having Faith back and, you know, resolving that was great. So I you know, I really enjoyed that.
It just brought a lot of closure.
Yeah, it did. And, you know, not that it's in my top 3, but, you know, we should mention I like the Angel finale too. In connection with that, because Spike was there.
Right.
And, it was really great. Another one of mine was The Shield. We talked about this on the show before, so I won't spend a lot of time talking about it. But I thought it wrapped the show up with a nice, neat little bow, which many shows don't do.
Right.
And it didn't leave us hanging or anything. It was just like, this man went from, you know, one hell to now he's in the hell of his own making, and he's stuck there.
And when the show started, he's at like the top of the heap because he runs his own crew. He has a lot of freedom because they close cases. Yeah. And now he's like a bureaucrat. Yeah, he's a desk jockey. Yeah. You know, so he's that. And my other controversial one, I know many people might not agree with me, but I really like the Star Trek Voyager finale. You're not going to get any arguments from me.
Because I know a lot of people hated it, but here's the thing. The whole crux of the show was they needed to get back home. Right. And all the way leading up, there was a thought that maybe they wouldn't do it. Like, they would end it like, okay, we're still going to go home. And even like 5 minutes before the show ended, you still thought there was a chance that they weren't going to make it. And that makes you emotionally invested in the show. And so I remember watching it with my dad. We, you know, made time. Like, it is, you know, 8 o'clock, do not bother us. You know, got the popcorn and everything. So those are the good kind of finales where you have really good memories for that.
That's a nice pick there, that Star Trek Voyager finale, because it's underrated.
Yes. So worsts.
Worst list.
There's a lot to choose from, but I'm just going to go off on a limb and just say the Seinfeld finale. I thought was horrible.
I'm going to agree with you on that.
It was pretty bad.
And I was such a fan of that show, and it was just like, it was just such an awful way to end a good show. Yeah, and they did that on purpose, I'm sure, just to F with people and, you know. Right. So there's many to talk about. We probably have a blog about how many we hate. And then there's a whole subsection of shows that ended and didn't get finales. So, you know.
Well, plenty to blog about.
Right. I was trying to think if I was going to go, you know, off the grid and choose something a little less obvious, but I'm just going to go right into The Sopranos.
Oh, nice one.
Like, that was just, because everybody was so, like, how are they going to end the show? Is Tony going to die? Is he going to end up, you know, in jail? What's going to happen to the family? And it was just like all this stuff that all these questions that people had leading up into it. And just that, I mean, look, as much as we all love Journey, Don't Stop Believing, come on, we all love that song. That ending was just, that was like a giant F-U to the fans. You know, really, that's what it felt like. It was like they didn't take the fans' feelings into account at all. And you sort of want that from a finale because you've invested a big chunk of your life into it. Yeah. So you want the producers to be thinking about you. And they just didn't do that with The Sopranos, and that's why it left a bad taste in my mouth. And it's sort of, for me, it sort of like sours the show.
Yeah. And it really was kind of stupid where it just ended the show on this blank